Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining this webinar. I'm Alexandra. I'm responsible for startup relations and program at Sigfox. So nice to meet you all. The idea today is the first time we schedule a webinar that early to give the opportunity to everybody to join our webinars regardless of the time zone. So we have another session on the afternoon at 5 p.m. CET time. So if you want to review the webinar, you can. So it's my great pleasure to welcome today Khushrim Zakli, who is Director IoT Solution at Connected Invention. Connected Invention is part of the Sigfox Global Star program. So the agenda today is first, Khushrim will introduce you the Foxer IoT platform, and then show how to retrieve data from the Sigfox cloud and display it on the platform. And last but not least, give an air quality monitoring and tracking live demo. And in the end, we'll have a Q&A session. So you can use the question or chat box on your screen to write your question during the whole session. And in the end, I will read it for you to get the answers from Khushrim. So Khushrim, the floor is yours. So if you want to start, you're welcome.
Thank you, Alexandra. A very good morning to everyone in Europe, or a very good afternoon to those in Asia Pacific. As Alexandra explained before, we're going to go through today through some presentation on what Connected Inventions is doing within the global Sigfox program, and later on we will focus a lot on the Foxer IoT, which is one of the reasons of this webinar today, to basically hands-on on creating Foxer IoT dashboards using the devices that already been deployed in Sigfox or that you're planning to deploy. Without taking so much time, I will maybe super briefly explain to you what Connected Invention is all about. Give me a second. So basically, we are a company that makes things come alive. We fulfill the whole three major components of deploying full IoT solution today within the Sigfox global ecosystem. So we have the network operators, Connected Finland and Connected Baltics, doing Finland and Estonia, covering 85% of Finnish population and 69% of Estonian population. In addition to the network, we also manufacture devices which are cutting-edge devices that comes for air quality tracking and motion sensing. And then to complete the full cycle, we also built a software, Foxer IoT, which is a platform for Sigfox-powered IoT devices data management. When it comes to devices, as I mentioned, we have them in different pillars. We have Connected Airways, which is a indoor temperature and humidity measuring device. Similarly, we have within the Airways family, the CO2, the smart particulate matter, the indoor air quality, and the connected press car, which is a device to measure the air difference. In addition to that, we also have, as you can see, the devices that are basically white. They are meant for the indoor, so we focus a lot on the indoor air quality. We have deployed more than 140,000 devices in the Sigfox network already, and so far the response rate was really good from the whole ecosystem. In addition to air quality indoor, we also have similar devices for outdoor, and that is Connected TempGuard, Connected TwinGuard, and Connected MultiGuard, which, as you can see, they are meant to be used outside. Basically, they are also, it's attached to two probes, so you can use in a more delicate areas. TempGuard does the temperature with the probes, TwinGuard does humidity with probes, and MultiGuard is a device that does various retrofitting solution. Last but not least, we have Connected Detectify, which is a fear sensor, and it's been used widely into office spaces. through our partners, and it serves gives a really unique value proposition to the office space management. We also have Connected Ranger, our latest device, which is a Wi-Fi tracking device, which we will demo today as well into this webinar. In addition to 10 traditional devices that we have manufactured, we also manufactured a connected smart lock for the Finnish postal service Posti, and it's a postal service smart locking system for delivery cabinets. So basically, we are a company that builds devices, but also does custom devices for any type of need within the Sigfox ecosystem. As we are now really focused on the Foxr IoT today on this webinar, a couple of words. What is Foxr IoT? So basically, it's a platform meant only for Sigfox devices, and it's basically everything you need to deploy today an IoT solution of tomorrow and today. So as you know, IoT is the future of everything. There are many Sigfox devices in the market already in the Sigfox partner network. We are integrating all of them into Foxr IoT while integrating natively our devices as well. Why do you use the Foxr IoT? Basically, if you want to analyze everything such as temperature, location, distance, optical recognition, acceleration, position, basically voltage, magnetism, leakage, surface levels, flow, power loads, torque, stress, etc. So basically a lot of indicators and components you can also track using the Foxr IoT. It's multi-tenant. That means it supports different hierarchy where you can manage your partners, then you can manage, the partners can manage the customers. So it allows a really nice hierarchy of the user permission, and this is critical when it comes to multiplying to different customers on the long run. There's no need for any programming skills. So basically, it's meant for the business people to set up and manage IT project in a couple of minutes. The partners can be easily created and be managed. They can all be white labeled, so they can all be branded as well. Foxr IoT is made for Sigfox, so basically every device that is using Sigfox can be integrated inside the Foxr IoT. It's meant to be scalable from a couple of devices to millions of devices with our servers and our capacity of scaling that we have in-house. It's pretty low cost, efficient, and a fast tool. So how does it work in the backend? So this picture explains how the Sigfox works in general. Basically, the devices are communicating through the radio network that goes to the Sigfox cloud, and then from Sigfox cloud through the connection, we take the data and we place them in the Foxr IoT, where you can do the users and device management, but also you can do the message management as well by creating dashboard alarms and basically taking this data to your platforms as well, to your solutions. Inside the Foxr IoT structure, we have the customer system, which is optional, and then we have the Sigfox backend, which passes through the on-demand, basically the data that is coming from a device straight to the Sigfox cloud into the Foxr IoT platform in real time using the REST API. Then Foxr IoT backend and Foxr IoT frontend does the whole magic and allows you to use the Foxr IoT as a web service, or basically pass this information to your platform that you already have. There is sometimes different customers, they start using Foxr IoT until they build their complex Microsoft Azure, but then at the end they end up using the Foxr IoT at the end because it's really simple to set up and there is no need to parse the data to the third party when you already have in Foxtrot IT everything set up. How does the hierarchy works? This is important to remember and see. So we have all of the operators as we partner with in order to onboard them on Foxtrot IoT, and then they have the providers. The providers are basically what they are called in the Sigfox terminology as channel partners, and they can have many partners. And the partners or providers can have many hundreds and thousands of customers, depending on the different use cases. Of course, Foxtrot IT is meant mainly for the B2B, so so far it's working really well when it comes to this hierarchy. And then within the customer, you can have different account groups. Basically, you can define which users have access to X, which users have access to Y, and which users have access to Z. So to sum it up, before we go to the real demo, which everybody's waiting for, and its most exciting part, is basically that Foxtrot IT is the global one-stop solution for IoT, as Sigfox is the most powerful IoT ecosystem in the world right now. We're offering one global network, one data cloud API, one unified backend, one contract global reach, one unified business model. We do the same. So basically, we are one global IT platform with one data cloud and API, one unified analysis toolkit, one contract, global reach, one platform, and unlimited customers. If you want more information regarding the presentation materials that we can share later on, feel free to reach us at Connected Finland or through Alexandra. But now I'm just going to go and start the demo. So basically now I have prepared the demo version here in order to showcase every possible feature of Foxtrot IoT in this presentation, and what the capabilities of Foxtrot IT that are to build IoT solutions quickly. So we start from the provider. So for the sake of demo today, we have made 3 different company names which are fictitious, and we don't display some of the real customer data according to the regulation and the laws that we have. So we have created a company called Atlantic, which is a provider, which in the Sigfox terminology is basically a channel partner. And then we created another company, Pacific, which is a customer of Atlantic, and it's a partner admin. So basically, as a partner admin, the Pacific will be able to manage the devices, add parsers, basically transfer devices, do the device management. And as a customer of Pacific, we have a company called Cube, which basically has all the dashboards and can customize which employees of the Cube can have access to certain dashboards and certain access to devices. So let's start from the provider. So here, the Atlantic Ltd has basically 2 partners at the moment. It's one called Astra and another one called Pacific. We are going to focus on the Pacific, and this is a partner of Atlantic. So as a Pacific, we'll be able to basically add devices later on to the customers that they have already created. In order to get the full hierarchy, as you can see it in here, as Atlantic, Pacific, and Cube, if I go to the backend, you can basically see within the Sigfox backend the exact same hierarchy. So every time we add a new partner in here, basically it will appear within here Pacific. However, the place where you can add the providers, this is only entitled to the Sigfox operators, as they are entitled to add as well channel partners. So the Sigfox operators will add the providers, while then the provider basically can add the partners and customers later on. But just to reflect the hierarchy here, basically it's the same as explained there. So basically Atlantic is a provider offering services to Pacific, which is a partner that can add devices, and Cube is a customer of the Pacific. One more important thing here on the overall presentation regarding the Foxer IoT is that you can actually white label everything possible. So now, for example, as you can see, I have made this Atlantic Ltd logo to show how is it done, and you can see here that I can also white label the partners such as Pacific when I log in the new place. So I added the logo and I added Pacific Logistics. So the toolbar top bar color is basically blue, and you can see that once we go to the Pacific partner list. In order to white label the provider in this regard, you can basically have it within the settings here, the white label solution in here. So basically, if I just want to change, let's call it this into yellow, you can see that already I white label the provider in this regard. The best part to find out where are you currently in the Foxer IoT is if you basically check on the top right here, basically shows what is the level that you're logged in as. So in this moment, you can see like it's provider admin and it's Atlantic. Here you can see the list of devices that belong to this provider. That means that this channel partner that has a contract, the devices has been added to the customers of the Atlantic. So if you want to create a partner, basically we can just easily create a new partner. So if we basically let's see, we can add here and organization name. So let's call it, like, we can call it Echo Partners. The contact name, I'll put my name on it. The address is Helsinki, Finland, and the contact email is echo@foxeriot.com, just to simulate. I have just created a new partner. I can white label this. I can put some different text to it. I can put the subdomain. If I put this as Echo, it will be automatically identified as echo.foxeriot.com, and that basically where you have the unique access point with a unique branding toward that. You could see that already within the partners of Atlantic, we have 3 partners. We have Astra that I created earlier, Pacific that we will work today with, and we have Echo partners. If I go to the Sigfox backend and I just refresh it, you could see that Echo partner already got created inside the Atlantic group, and this reflects the same thing. So if you want to create more partners, so you don't have to go back to Sigfox backend, basically you can manage everything from here. If we go to Pacific, which we will be working today, and you can see here that I added some of the logos and background images and some heading, and the Pacific is the subdomain. I'll just go here and I'll show you, like, this is how it looks if you just log in from outside for the Pacific. So basically you can see everything that we added earlier into here, and you can also have a unique logo here that explains during the login process. Moving on to the partner. Now we're gonna be as a partner, so we're gonna focus a lot on the Pacific. So we're gonna switch our role and we're gonna log in as Pacific. You can see the Pacific is also designed in a different way as we designed it earlier, and now I'm inside it. Pacific, as a partner, can do plenty of stuff. So first of all, can add as many customers as possible. You can see here we have a customer called Cube, which we pre-created before in order to showcase the demo. But we can add as many partner customers as possible here in this hierarchy. Perhaps it's a good idea here to basically start and add a new customer. So I'm just gonna do another customer. Let's call it atlas@foxrot.com, and it automatically, the Foxrot tells us this customer does not exist with this email. So we're gonna create a new customer by giving it the name. So we call it Atlas Ltd. And let's go this. I will use for the simplicity my name as well, and then the address is Helsinki, Finland. We create a new customer, and now we can see that we have two customers. We have a Cube, which we pre-created earlier, which will be focused a lot today, and we have Atlas Ltd. And it's the same if we go to the Sigfox backend. Within the Atlantic, we have Pacific, on which has now two customers, and one is Cube and one is Atlas. Basically, it reflects everything what you see in here. As a partner, basically, you can manage customers by assigning different permission in hierarchy, which you can do device management without need to go to Sigfox backend. You can create parsers and assign contract and import devices as well. In addition to that, you can also add beacons if you're using the Wi-Fi beacons, if you're using the Wi-Fi trackers as well. And we can do now a live demo on how this can be done. Previously, before the demo, I was importing some of the devices here. As you can see, they belong to the customer Cube, and we will be adding some more devices for that. In order to add devices, we need to make sure that we have a list of devices. So let's start to do this presentation in order how to import device. So first of all, we need to have a CSV file that shows the ID and the pack number divided by the semicolon, saved as CSV. You can have one, or you can have millions of devices in a row in this format. And this will be the format that is supported by the Foxrot when we import the device. But before we import the device, as it's important to the whole Sigfox hierarchy, how it works is that we need to assign first a contract to the customer on which we will activate the device type in order to add a device into that device type. In order to do that, we have to go in the backend and import a contract. You can see here that I have a contract name called Atlantic Pacific Cube Environment. And if I just take this particular unique ID from the address bar, I can import this easily by going to the settings, preferences, and in the next to the contract ID. So here you can see that I can basically paste here this contract ID that I got it from the backend and give a description that this is Atlantic Pacific, etc. What is the name of the contract ID that we want to remember ourselves? I'm not going to add this because I already added before. So you could see here basically on the contract IDs that this is the same type of contract that I copied earlier in the backend. It's already added in here. So here you can add multiple contract IDs and then assign to different type of customers depending on which contract reflect which customer in the real life in the backend. Now that we have created basically the contract inside, we need to start and building the parser for the device. As you can see, we have the Airways CO2, which is a Connected Inventions Airways CO2 device, and we need to start create a parser for that. Now, we have two options when we create a parser. So basically, parser in the Sigfox terminology, it's known as a device type. So we are here creating a parser with Connect Airways CO2. You can see like there's at the moment I don't have any parser for CO2 in purpose, because there are two ways to create a parser inside the Foxer IoT. One is if we are using the new built-in parser, and this allows us to build automatically more than 70 types of devices already integrated inside Foxer IoT. You can see the list of them. Basically, they are our devices, our own devices as Connected Inventions natively are integrated, but then you can see as well the Adeonis devices. You can see the ChipFox. You basically can see endless devices and different one as well here. The other possibility, if there are no built-in devices, is to create a custom parser. A custom parser is actually a very cool feature that allows us to do the custom parser based on the documentation that we received from the manufacturers with their user manual. So let's click to the new custom parser and just define how this is done. So I'm now opening the user manual of Airways CO2, and here I can see, let's say, the payload description, how it's done, and in addition to all the really wonderful user manuals that we have created in order to show the customers what to do with the devices when they have it and where to install it and where not to install it. But we're going to focus on the payload description because that's what makes more sense when it comes to custom parsers. So here you can see that I can simulate usually what example of the part of the message that Airways CO2 is defining is it's this one here. I'm just going to copy and I paste in here, and I say, all right, so here, according to the user manual, it says first to second bit is the temperature, third is humidity, 4 to 5 is the carbon dioxide level. Just to focus on to get the temperature, so basically we can say, let's click first to second, and this is, I say, temperature. The observation unit is Celsius. This is the integer, little endian, and unsigned. And then here we basically explain this, the conversion formula here that says this is the value divide 10 minus 40. It brings the real value of the device. So now here we can save the observation basically and create the other part of a device for the humidity. Similar, we say this is humidity and this is the percentage. Similar integer, unsigned, and it's just the value. I must have made some. Yeah, so I should select when I select the bit, you need to make sure like it's from third to third. So double click the same one, and you can see here that this is the configuration for the humidity. Similar goes with carbon dioxide. So basically from 4th to 5th of the byte, it's, let's say, I would say that this is the ppm integer, and here is just the value. So it's just here basically we have created using the user manual the whole idea between the device parser in here. But since we have a built-in parser inside, I just wanted to show you that how can you configure the devices that are not inside built-in. So we're going to use the built-in parser for the Airways CO2. So here we just click the new built-in parser. Let's search for CO2, and then it says connected to Inventions Airways CO2. Let's create. Here we have two companies, two customers that we will select, and in this case, since we added the previous devices into the cube, we're gonna select cube, and then here the contract ID, it just pulls out information from the Foxer IoT backend in order which contract to use, and in this regard is asking us to use the contract we already added. We have added a new parser. Now we need to add the device, and we have the device already in place. So basically, let's do the device import. Here we have already prepared the CSV file. Now we just have to upload. We click the upload CSV file, and let's go to desktop and then take the CSV file. And here, as you can see, automatically it detected the device ID, the pack, but it did not add the product certificate. You can get the product certificate by going to the basically partner network. In this case, I'm going to the Connected Airways CO2 RC1, and you go to certification, and this is the product certificate that you can get it inside. We can add the product certificate for this device, and you can set the parser that we just created, and the parser in this regard is the Connected Inventions Airways CO2. Of course, it's very important to add tags in order to know what the device is all about. You can add as many tags as possible. I'm just going to add temperature and basically what the device can do, and also the company it belongs to. I apply tags, and I run the import. So now you can see that the device started to import. Here, if you go to the batch job, you can basically see that the transfer is pending. So the device is basically re-added now. And this is important. So basically, we will not pay attention to this device because it will take some time to come to the backend. But we can see the other parts as well. Another thing which is really, really, really important when it comes to device parsers is that the ability to add the downlink on it. So for example, I'm gonna just use another device parser that I already created earlier. You can see here that you can do the webhook. So basically, you can parse the whole data from the Foxer into your platform using the URL. But you can also do the downlink configuration here inside the device parser within the Foxer IoT. Again, this also depends on the user manual that you receive from the manufacturer, and I'm opening a different device to show a different type of user manual that we have, and here we can basically see the downlink, how to configure it, and what do you use, what do you need to use to add it in here. And basically you add this, and then you start to you save the downlink message, and the device starts to do the new downlink once it gets it. So a really good feature is the downlink inside the device parser. Similar thing is with the beacons. If you are using the Wi-Fi trackers, you can add beacons. So basically, you can add them by pressing add, and add the MAC address that you can get. So just to simulate how the MAC address could look like is basically something like this. So you have to add this without the dots, 2 dots in between the numbers. Okay. Now that we have the customer cube and we imported the devices, we can start to generate the data. Basically here within the cube, we can also first of all white label the cube by adding a logo and changing the top bar color. One important thing for now is that as well, that is worth mentioning, is the ability to configure the SMS services, because sometimes when the device is communicating and when alerts are happening, you can get alerts using the email, you can get alerts using the webhook, but you can also get alerts using the SMS. So basically, if you want to enable the SMSs, you go to each customer here, either could be Atlas or Cube, and then basically here you enable the SMS service, and the additional cost will apply when using the SMS service in this regard. Moving on now, since we have created plenty of devices, we imported plenty of devices, and we have the Cube as a customer, and we made this green color. Let's go and log in as Cube. There are 2 ways to log in as Cube, and that is as a corporate admin. So basically a place where the Cube administrator will be able to add users and do the dashboards, or you have a possibility to have a corporate user on which this user only can see the dashboard, will not be able to add any users or do anything, but just is a user to use the dashboard in this regard. Since now the devices that already are inside here, we have imported, so we can see that these devices already in the dashboard that I have created earlier. So basically, I have a dashboard that does the blueprint. It shows the activity of the motion sensor if somebody is in this room. So apparently, no activity has been detected. And then it shows the temperature and humidity of this specific other room. So basically, this is a feature of the dashboard that you can have it in a blueprint. On the right side, I have a connected Ranger, which is a Wi-Fi tracker that I mentioned earlier. Here, it's showing basically the path of the movement on where did the Ranger went on today, 24th of March at 8:49. As you can see, it's at the office in here, and some of the time it goes to this store here, and mainly like to this another one here. So this making around office space here in some 2 to 5 kilometers radius. We can have the GOG display of temperature and humidity and the CO2, and then we have also the different line charts, especially those, for example, for temperature, where we identify like inform us if the temperature is higher than 21, send us an alert. Green means it's good, red means it's bad. Similarly is with the activity here. For the Detectify, so if you see more than 20 activities, please alert us that it's not good or either bad. Then it's the way to display only one value here, and that is for the same sensor, the temperature, and also if you want to have it in a list view, you can have it in a list view as well here. So there are different options to display the dashboards, and that basically, if we just go and we want to edit, we can make this one smaller, bigger, delete and re-enable, basically shuffle around a lot of the dashboard. It's highly customizable, supports the full screen movements, and basically you can see that you can make way bigger and different. So basically we save it. If we want to create a new widget, there is a possibility. So basically we just edit the dashboard. We create the widget. Let's go for the GOG, for example, and let's see if this CO2 device has been already communicating something. Yes. So here we can say like the GOG starts from 0 to 2000, and this is basically the green. And we can add if it's from 0 to 100 is green. If it's from 100 to 500 it's red. And basically here we can define how we want to display the CO2 level, and if we save it, it can be here added together with the rest of the widgets. So I'm just gonna make it look a bit more fancy and beautiful. So let's see how this can look after we save it. Right? So you can see here we could just create a new GOG for the air with CO2 for the device that we just added earlier on. And if you want to create more dashboards, so basically you go to devices and you select, let's select only the air quality devices, and that these are basically the humidity, temperature, and the air width. And here we have the place where it shows us the dashboard, and you can see that already has created for us by default the line charts, but we can actually add more types of different visualization into the dashboard in here. So let's first rename this. Let's call it like Foxtrot demo, and let's save it. And you can see here we have already the line chart with the alerts included in the Foxtrot demo. If we want to check the last 24 hours, this is how basically we can see the data last week, last month as well. So plenty of functionalities. One important thing to mention for the Foxtrot demo dashboards are the ability to share the dashboard. So if I want to share this to the outside, so basically I can create a share link, and this is a share link, it's already created. So you don't have to have access to Foxtrot in order to see this. So if I just log in as incognito, and you can see here that this dashboard is already functional here, and the customers can see it right away once you have clicked the share part in here. Then another really cool part is the position tracker. So basically position tracker, you can have the demo here into the map, but you can also go more deeper if you just go to the tracker, and you can see here the tracker that I'm using in my bag that I'm moving around. It's showing me, it can show me where was it in the last hour and where was it in the last 6 hours. You can see like in the morning of 8:49 this morning, it is on at our office here. These are the longitude and latitude of the device, where it has been in the past 2 days in between these two locations, and last week, last 4 weeks. You can see the movement of the tracker in the last 4 weeks, and you can go up to 2 months, 3 months as well. See the difference. The tracker has not been outside of the location within 3 months. Maybe it's not supposed to be. So for this, we have alerts. In alerts, we can set up basically for the tracker, before we go to the air quality one, we can put the geofence position. So basically here I have an alert that says when they send me an alert every time the ranger is outside the geofence in here. So this is our office, and I made it like every time the ranger goes outside of this place, send me an alert, and that's what I get every time I leave the office. But in order to create alert, it's pretty straightforward. So basically we just create add alert. We call it demo alert, this one. We say let's do this one for the air quality. Let's call it like let's do the CO2 one, and select the device we just added earlier. Let's save it, the time zone, and let's alert when the CO2 level is greater than, let's call it 600, and give us a warning. There are two types of severity, warning, which basically shows a yellow mark, and critical, and we can create two. So for this 600, we can say the warning, and then we can create another one, which we make it 1000, and this is critical. The delivery method is basically, do you want to receive it as email, SMS, or the webhook? So with the webhook, basically you put an URL and the headers, you specify the headers and SSL, and that's what you get basically. You get event type, alert, timestamp, device ID, and observation. You have the full webhook documentation here on the Foxer IoT, which explains how to get all the data into your end platform. But we're going to do it email. I'm just going to add my email. Now everyone knows my email. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to my email in here. And I say that I only want to know the alerts during the office hours. So basically I can say don't send alerts in between midnight till, let's say, 7 in the morning, or after 6 p.m. till midnight. So then I can say here, I don't want to receive alerts, and I only want to receive alerts when during this time frame. Then the delivery strategy is send me once, which means send me every time you trigger that when the CO2 is greater than 600, send until it's acknowledged. This means I need to go on inside Foxer IoT and I press the button acknowledge. That means that don't send me until I click that button. Send me always. Send always when scheduled. Basically what we just did earlier. Send the last number of messages, or you can say send me in the last number of minutes. So you can configure this if you want to have it in the last 180 minutes or 1000 minutes, or depending on how you want to configure this deliveries. But you can see there are plenty of options to get the delivery. I'm just going to do it send once just to save the alert, and you can see here that the demo alert is already created. You can see already the incident that happened, and this incident reflects as well inside the dashboards as well in here. Another really good feature within the Foxer IoT is the ability to export all the data into CSV format. So basically, if we go to an Airwit, you can see that the data that has been generated by Airwit, you can easily export that in the CSV format. And here we can, I can open it in a text edit just to see what we get. So we get the device ID, timestamp, MS type, and value. So if we open it in numbers, you will be able to see it more in a table row. So basically, yeah, this is the device ID, and these are the temperature and humidity in every half an hour that the device is reporting. We can change the interval of the report to Airwit to 50 minutes, basically 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, depend with the downlink at the parsers, device parser where I showed earlier. With that, basically, I think I covered most of it. What more I can say is that as a corporate admin here, I can also create user groups. So I just created a webinar group on which I can say like these 2 users have access to this demo, and these are the dashboard that basically they will be able to see. So this is important when you have different types of groups and users. So as a corporate admin, you will be able to add more users. So when you add a user in a corporate admin, you basically here, you can add an email, and you can decide, is this a user or admin? As mentioned before, user is the one who only sees it. Admin is the one that configures the dashboards and creates them and creates alerts and does everything as an admin of a Cube Ltd. in this particular example. We can make each profile for each user, and we can see also the logs of the webhooks and SMS messages here to monitor the usage of the data outside of the Foxtrot IoT. With this, perhaps I'm open now to answer any questions you might have for the Foxtrot IoT, for the devices, for the connected dimensions in general. So I'd like maybe to pass the floor now to Alexandra and have a little Q&A with each other.
Yes, thank you very much, Kashrim, for this great presentation and live demo. So I hope it was interesting for everybody. So it's now time for the Q&A session. So you basically can write your question on the question box, and then I will read it for you. So I can see that we still have some questions. So the first one is from Basco. So as far as I understood, all the interaction from Foxtrot IoT with Sigfox is done via API. Aren't you worried that for some millions of devices, the solution will not scale due to the Sigfox current API limitation, paging limit, number of calls, etc.? What do you think?
Very good question. I am not super technical, but as far as I understand from our engineers that are investing so much work on this integration, the data that comes to Sigfox Cloud automatically is parsed into is sent to the Foxtrot IoT. So in this regard, as long as they come to the Sigfox Cloud, they will already arrive to the Foxtrot IoT. So there's no issue on terms of like scalability of this. It is exactly a question that was brought up years ago when we started to build the Foxtrot IoT, because the Foxtrot IoT is meant for scaling large projects, and as you can see, it's meant for B2B and not for B2C, but basically thousands of devices. We already have hundreds of thousands of devices inside the Foxtrot with our customers, and it's working flawlessly at the moment. So there's not going to be any API limitation from Sigfox Cloud to the Foxtrot IoT at this very moment, as I know. Everything is working well.
Okay, thank you, Kashrim, and thank you, Basco.
Basco, you can also write me an email, and I can ask some of our engineers to give up as well to back this up. So more than happy.
Nice. Thank you. Basco will. I have another question from Ed. How long is the history of readings kept for?
It depends from the moment that the device is starting to communicate until the current date. So you can see here that I made it the last month, but you can basically go back as early as possible when the device was communicating. So we store all the data of the device inside the platform.
Okay, I have another question. Can we draw or upload our own building plan?
Very good question. Yes, you can. So basically, the blueprint that you can see here, it's a blueprint of one of the locations. So this is not the same one that will be used, but you can upload as many blueprints as possible in order to do that. So basically, we can add a widget, and then here select the devices you want to add. So let's say I'm going to add humidity, PEER, and CO2, and basically here you can upload a new blueprint image that you have. And basically here, if you have the image, I don't have another image here to upload it, but you can basically upload it, and then it will show here everything into the dashboard. So yes, you can upload blueprints.
Cool. A question regarding the webinar. So is this being recorded? Yes, of course it is, and it will be uploaded on YouTube. So you'll receive a follow-up email with the slide, with the link to the YouTube video, and you'll be able to reach out to Kashrim or me if you have any additional questions, or feel free. Do we have other questions? I think it's okay. Okay, great. So it's been pretty clear, I guess. So thank you very much, Kashrin, for joining this webinar. It was really relevant. And yeah, we have another session on this the afternoon. So if you want to join it, feel free. It's at 5 p.m. CET time. And yeah, thank you, Kashrim. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And write to you soon by email.
Thank you, Alexandra. Thanks, everyone, for listening. If you have any questions, as Alexandra mentioned, feel free to reach us by email. We can give you some of the demo environment access. You can play around with Foxer IoT, and then for onboarding yourself into Foxer IoT, if you are a Sigfox partner, you need to go to basically to Sigfox operator of your country, because they are our partners. We integrated as many as Sigfox operators already in the Foxer, so they are working well with it. So basically, they can grant you access as well, and this is an joint ecosystem where we can help each other, and we can work together. So thanks for your time today.
Okay, thank you very much, Kashrim. That's really cool. And by the way, we had a lot of nice words on the app, so thank you again. It's been very clear for everybody. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.